And I got back all right from Ireland, where I was last week. I brought some souvenirs home. It used to be a 12-pack, now it's like a 7-pack. I think it's the metric conversion. But I had a great time. But a lot has happened over here since I've been back. So I would like to start off this week's Friday Funnies with a poem. That's right, with apologies to Ernest Thayer, who originally wrote Casey at the Bat. Somewhere folks are happy, and somewhere they're inspired. But there is no joy in Cheesetown. Mighty Brett Favre has retired. Thank you very much. Yep, Brett Favre, there's a pall all over the state of Wisconsin as they realize that their last hope of ever seeing another Super Bowl is hanging up his athletic supporter. But Brett has called it quits this week, and he is a great football player and also a wonderful team leader. But most importantly, he taught each and every one of us that it's not necessary to pronounce your name the same way that it's spelled. Bratwursts are flying half-mast across the state in his honor. Well, this is also the weekend we've been waiting for all winter long. This is daylight savings time. Yes, this is that stupid biennial practice of adjusting our clocks and watches and timepieces and trying to fool ourselves that we are actually making the days 1 hour longer. Yeah. Well, this time adjustment has to be done precisely at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. Do not try to adjust your clocks any sooner than that, or you could be subject to the same penalties facing people who tear the tags off of their mattresses. You've been warned. That said, I found some funny stories in this week's news, so here's the ones I selected having the greatest comedic potential. Our first story took place right here in Chicago this week. I like to call it Sky King Takes a Bogey. More and more people are winding up these days with more money than they have brains. And among those people, I would have to say that Robert Cadera is their king. Robert Cadera, 65 years old, decided to take his son to his tennis lesson, his 14-year-old son. 65, 14? Can you say trophy wife? I bet you can. Anyhow, he wanted to take the kid to tennis practice. The kid was late, so what did he do? He fired up his private airplane to fly him to the tennis court, and he landed the plane across the street on the 7th fairway of a golf course. What an idiot. He was met there by the police because all of the residents in the area called in reports of a suspicious low-flying aircraft, and they didn't know what to expect. So he was charged with trespassing and criminal idiocy. Plus, he had to take a penalty stroke and take off from the blue tees. All right, sing along with me, won't you? Put your right foot in, put your right foot out, put your right foot in, and shake it all about. Hokey pokey, I know, that's what you're thinking too. But they're not doing the hokey pokey in Vancouver, British Columbia. Not British Vancouver, Columbia. That would be a completely different story. But in Vancouver, British Columbia, they have a problem. For some reason, human feet are washing up on shore. That's right, for the third time in the last couple of months, human feet, always the right foot clad in a running shoe, has washed up on the shores of the Gulf Islands offshore Vancouver. Now, nobody has claimed the feet, and police really don't know where they're coming from. But since no left feet ever washed up on shore, I would say that the authorities should be on the lookout for a three-legged man who is an incredibly bad dancer. You. And finally, we've all run out of sick days, I think, and the next time that happens, you may want to try what Daniel Cooch of Pasco, Washington did this week. He was out of sick days down at the benzene plant or wherever he works, so he convinced a friend to shoot him, figuring that a gunshot wound would get him some needed time off, and he could possibly skip the upcoming mandatory drug test. So now he is in trouble with the police, he is in trouble with his employer, and he has a hole in his shoulder. Anyhow, at least he has both of his feet. Hey, that's all I have for you this week. Remember, it's only 10 days, 10 shopping days until St. Patrick's Day. Buy your beer now, and don't forget to set your clocks and watches ahead 1 hour this weekend, unless, of course, you live in Arizona or Hawaii, because you're special.